Welcome, everyone. My name is Jacob. Thank you for joining me. This is Hunt Detail. And last week we talked about the ATA, the best of, and it really was all about Tethered and Hunt Arsenal and some of the things that they brought in terms of new launches. I was really impressed by both companies in terms of the way that they're looking at the mobile hunting market and the needs that they're trying to fill or the problems they're trying to solve for mobile hunters. So really impressed. If you haven't had a chance to take a listen to that, I would encourage you to do so. Also have a ton of content on the Hunt Detail YouTube channel from the ATA, some of which will be covered today, some of which I will never get a chance to get to. So go check out, there's a 3-part series of videos. You can check those out. Today, we're going to talk about some other products that sort of caught my attention and thought it would be interesting to discuss. Also going to talk about some of the new bows that I've hit the market and some that have really caught my attention. There's a lot of, even though there's not a lot of change within the bow market year to year, there are some changes. And I think companies are really trying to do different things to outcompete the Hoyts and the Matthews of the world and try to carve out their own market share, their own niche within the space. And it's kind of interesting. It's quite impressive, honestly. And so we'll talk more about that. We'll dive into those options. But before I get to any of that, it's Western hunt application season. There's a lot to understand, a lot to know, a lot of nuance with each state, whether it's Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, whatever. If you want to go on an elk hunt, deer hunt, moose hunt, whatever it is, there's a lot of nuance there. And what I would encourage you to do now is to sign up for GoHunt.com. If you're not familiar, GoHunt.com has a gear shop. It's a very robust gear shop. They have boots and tents and backpacks, sleeping bags, all of the gear that you could possibly need, archery equipment. They have a hunt map application that is outstanding. It's a product that I use in the field and in desktop research. And then they have the Insider, which allows you to look at particular states. They have strategy articles about each state, about species within those states. And you can also do filtering 2.0, where you can look at a particular unit and see roughly how many points it might take to draw that unit, and some of the success rates and the percent of public land and other information right at your fingertips. It really streamlines the process. And if you sign up now, you'll get $75 if you use my email. And when you use my email, it will also help the show. But you type in JM Coon, COON, 02 at yahoo.com. And you'll get $75 towards the gear shop. And if there's something you didn't get for Christmas, something you've been thinking about, something you want to get for next year, now's the time, and you're going to be able to take advantage of all, a lot of the offerings that they have, all the resources that they have, that sort of thing. Highly recommend it. Take advantage of this offer before Friday of this week. I think that's the 24th. So you can pause here, sign up now. Again, use my email, jmcoon02 at yahoo.com in the coupon code as you check out. So let's talk about some of the products that were really kind of interesting to me. I'll talk some about some of the ATA winners, and then some things that I just noticed. One of which was an ATA winner. It was Trophy Scan. This was best new technology, I guess. And it's going to be an app. I think it's going to come out sometime in February for $10 a month or $100 a year. And you digitally scan with your phone your deer head, and it will score it for you. And it'll also keep that digital rendition. And the digital rendition, if you go to their website or go to their YouTube channel, you can see them do it. It's very realistic, and you can keep it there for future. And future look at or evaluation, whatever. It's obviously it'll score it. I think that that's a really unique feature, interesting feature. I obviously we can download a Pope and Young spreadsheet and sort of score it ourselves, but I don't know how accurate I am sometimes as I do some of the measuring. I'm not great, and I would love to see what the scan says, quite honestly. And that one, Best New Technology, it looks very slick. It's coming out again in February. It's going to be $10 a month, and that's Trophy Scan. Another award winner was the Bino harness from Striver Gear. Now, on the YouTube channel for Hunt Detail, I have a product highlight. It's not really a review, just a product highlight where I'm looking at all of the features and the weight, how it works, and some of the dimensions and those sorts of things. And what it is if you think about a Bino harness, it can really get in the way at the worst time sometimes. If you're a saddle hunter, it gets in the way when you're trying to climb a tree. If you are a Western hunter and you want to get down prone and shoot with your rifle or whatever, that Bino bucket gets in the way. And so what this does is have these quick release clips that allow you to remove the Bino bucket quickly and efficiently. And I can see scenarios again where I'm going to be doing some hunting out of it doesn't have to be saddle hunting, it can be tree stand, but I've got my climbing sticks and the Bino bucket is really getting in the way. So I can take this off pretty easy and it's not a problem. Or I want to get prone, clip it right off, set it to the side, and it's great and it's out of the way. The rest of the harness stays on you. It's just the Bino bucket that that comes off. And so that one, I don't know if it won an award, but it may have gotten a silver or bronze. But ultimately, it was on the list for those recognized by the ATA. Now, last year, I met a group of guys from Tulu Broadheads. The Tulu Broadhead is a single piece of tool steel that has been treated. It's incredibly sharp for tool steel. I'm not a fan of tool steel broadheads, but this is incredibly sharp. I was really impressed. And it has a twist in the broadhead. If you think of a single piece of tool steel, very sharp, a bit like an iron will, but it's twisted, it's single beveled, and it has a twist in it that encourages even more that rotation. And so that really, they seem to be having some momentum and some success and some really good feedback from the bow hunting community. Again, they came out last year and I saw them again. And I just wanted to mention them if you're in the market for broadheads, as we usually are every year as we start thinking about season, this 2025 season. If you weren't happy with your broadhead performance and you'd like to use a fixed blade, then I would encourage you to check out the Tulu broadheads. They are a premium product, and I think they come out of Tennessee. Coming out of Michigan is REK broadheads, REK, and they have fixed heads, but they also have mechanical broadheads, and the mechanicals have this spring that is activated upon impact. It creates what they call a slap cut. And it's a great looking broadhead, a great looking set of broadheads. But the REK broadhead, I think they've been out for a number of years and looks like a decent option, a solid option, really. And I would encourage you to check those out, REK broadheads. And again, they emphasize this slap cut upon impact. Now, Rage Hypodermic 2 won the I think the best new broadhead. Admittedly, I didn't get a chance to really take a hard look at these. I do know it said something about the sharpest version or sharpest broadhead that they've ever made. I do like Rage broadheads. I do like any broadhead that has a stainless. I'm a big fan of the I think it's a 400 series stainless steel. Might be 4,000, but ultimately they're much easier to sharp. Now, obviously, they're not as durable as tool steel, but they're just so easy to sharpen, and you can get a really, really scary edge on those. And so you may want to, it's the Rage Hypodermic 2. I don't know if it has a different collar system or not, but it might be something to take a look at as we get closer to the season. I also talked with Annihilator Broadheads. Last year, they won an award for Best Broadhead with the Katana. Now, the Katana is, if you think about the Annihilator Broadheads, they have a version that's a sort of a, well, it is a 3-blade, and it's punches holes in a way that's really interesting. And I think they had a lot of success with that first broadhead fixed blade. The Katana is also fixed blade. It is single bevel, but it has these 2 blades on each side that are sort of at the center of the ferrule, and they're almost like a little scoop. And it won an award last year. Looks like a solid option, unique design, and that's from Annihilator. That's the Katana. So I would encourage you to check that out. I think they're going to be available in February. Last year they won this Best Broadhead Award, but they had some supply chain issues, and that's why it's going to be hitting the market this February. I spoke with, I believe it's Matt at Out on a Limb, and I've got a video of some of the offerings that they have from the ATA. That's on the YouTube channel. But I was really intrigued by this cleat that he has designed. Cleat attachment for your sticks, or I suppose it could work for your platform. And if you think about your cam buckle strap, I'm not a fan of those. They're heavy, they're noisy. That cam buckle will swing and hit your platform or a stick, and we just want to reduce the amount of metal that we take into the woods at all times. And so if you think about the post that the cam buckle attaches to, obviously you can use different Amsteel rope, daisy chain sort of things to use as an attachment point to that post where you might normally use the cam buckle strap. But this cleat attachment that Out on a Limb has designed, it looks really impressive, and I would encourage you to check that out. I don't think it's on the website quite yet. It's definitely on the video that is on YouTube, but it's a really unique cleat attachment, and I believe it's sort of a retroactive piece that you could attach to your platform or your sticks and turn that into a cleat as opposed to that post. From a standpoint of sight pins and sight housing, last year, or maybe 2 years ago, Ultraview came out with the UV slider, and it really, I think, made some impact in the marketplace because it's so different than what else is out there. It's very ergonomic. Pieces come in and out like Legos. They snap in and snap out. If you want to do single pin, multi-pin, if you want to have the light, if you can't have the light because of that state doesn't allow it, whatever it is, there's a lot of feature. It's very feature rich, but also user friendly with the UV slider. So they've come out this year with one that's specifically for the new Matthews Lift X bow. And along with that, the Dialed has come out with the Proof. Dialed Proof is a new sight pin, sight housing combination. And then the Axle Driver is also a new sight pin, sight housing combination. And so I haven't really taken a deep dive into all three of those, but those three seem to be the ones that have sort of carved out a space in the marketplace for evaluation as real significant steps forward with the ability to adjust and tune your shot, and it being, having built-in ergonomics, having, a way to really configure your bow and configure your sights in a way that's very customizable, I suppose. So I would encourage you to check those out. I think on the surface, the Dialed Proof comes sort of to the top for me. It might be one that I invest in, but I still have yet to take a deep dive. But those are new for this year. So let's talk a little bit about some of the bows that have hit the market, and you might hear some paper in the background as I'm going to look through some of my notes. But I was just taking a look, and this is not at the ATA. This is just my own research. Not all the bow companies, obviously, were at ATA. Mathews wasn't, Hoyt wasn't, but there were a few. I'm trying to think of Expedition was there, of course. They won Best New Bow with the X Elite 32. And just to give you, since it won Best New Bow, I'll give you some of the background on it. So it's Riser's machine from Magnite. And Magnite is an alloy apparently lighter than aluminum, but stronger than carbon. Has less, apparently, vibration properties, maybe stiffer. And so the Expedition is what they're saying is that carbon is dead, essentially, and that this bow was designed to compete with the carbon bows that are out there now. It comes in at 3.8 pounds. The 32 inches axle to axle. This is the X Elite 32, so 32 inches axle to axle. I like that size. It has draw weight to 50, 60, 65, 70, up to 80. It has different color options, camo finishes available, but it looks like a really great option. But I think with that bow and some of the other bows that I see that have hit the market, I looked at the Bear Persist 33, for example. I looked at the Prime Form. The Prime Form is sort of that hybrid carbon aluminum bow. PSE Mach 33, the Hoyt Alpha, I think it's a Alpha X2. It's a 29-inch axle bow, very short bow. Looking at those bows, including the Expedition X Elite, which won the ATA award for Best New Bow, it's the customization capabilities of those bows, I felt like, were limited when you compare them to some of the other bows that I've looked at. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've had my bow for probably 12, 13 years. It's a Hoyt Vector. It's 32 inches axle to axle. I've shot a bunch of things with it. It shoots really well. I think anytime I have an issue, it's really a function of me screwing something up, not necessarily the bow. I change my own cables and strings. I do my own cam tuning and all of that stuff. And maybe I'm not the best at it, but I'd rather do it myself than have, someone else do it. So if I were to purchase a new bow, and I don't believe I'm necessarily in the market for a new bow unless I win, some sort of lottery or something like that. But when I look at the bows that are out there, the ones that really rose to the top for me was the Darton Sequel 35, the Mathews Lift X, the Bowtech Proven 34, and the Elite Artis. Those four bows have a lot of tuning capabilities built into the bow themselves, so that you can tune. You don't have to put it on a bow press. You can tune in the field even. And why is that important? Well, if I'm traveling to go hunt somewhere, I get there, I shoot, I realize that something's off. Maybe I even try to paper tune it. I can adjust the cam alignment in the field with these bows. Some of them allow me to change the cam timing. I can do other features in terms of of adjusting the grip, that sort of thing. And I like that. Even though I change my own cables and strings, even though I have my own bow press, I like the fact that I could do some of that in the field. Now, admittedly, there may be trade-offs. You have all these set screws on all these different places of the bow, and that probably gives, creates additional weight in the bow. It might even reduce efficiency of the bow, of that shot cycle. So I'm not evaluating these. Obviously, I haven't shot them. They're not in hand. But the four that I mentioned, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit, rise to the top to me. Now, what I would encourage you to do is if you are interested in a new bow and you feel like, yeah, I'd want something that's really customizable, I would encourage you to go to Lancaster Archery's YouTube channel and then type in the bow that you want to look at. And they walk through it, I think, is better than anybody else. They go through the cams, they go through whether, how the cables and strings, the yoke setup, the limb pockets, the grip, how you would attach the sight, what it's set up for. Does it have a Picatinny rail, or is it, all of that stuff? And they do a really nice job of it. Obviously, this podcast is not the platform for that, because it would be 6 hours long and it would bore you to death because you can't see anything. So I'm just going to talk about these at a high level. So the Mathews X, which if you are anywhere, you've definitely heard about it. But they came out with the Mathews Lift last year. This is the Lift X, and what they've introduced or added to the bow that's a little bit different is the limb shift technology, which allows you to micro-tune the bow simply by turning a screw to change the limb balance and load within the limb channel. So if I'm paper tuning, I see a tear that's to the left, I can adjust my bow if I feel like it's a function. If I feel like it's a function of the cams, then I can adjust my limb using the limb shift technology. I can adjust those cams that way, which is a great new feature. Again, don't need a bow press. They've also added some customization of capability with the grip. Now, I think they're called Bond grips, and there's 4 different configurations for whatever type of grip that you would like or prefer. And so they're really trying to create some customization opportunities there. And that bow comes in a 29.5 axle to axle and a 33. And the 29.5 is $1,359. The 33, which is probably what I would shoot, comes in at $1,469. So that's that Mathews Lift X. But listen, I tell you what, the Bowtech Proven 34 is really interesting. So it has all sorts of tunability. Now it comes in, so the Mathews Lift X 33 came in at 4.26 pounds. The Bowtech Proven 34, it's 34 inches axle to axle. This comes in at 4.7 pounds. The speed rating is 331 feet per second. The Lift X was 343. So the Lift X has a higher feet per second. And so they have what's called a time lock on the Bowtech Proven 34 that allows you to tune the timing of the cams with just an Allen wrench. They have a thing called grip lock, where you can adjust the angle of the grip with an Allen wrench, I believe. And it's the cam system has what's called deadlock, and it allows you to tune the cams with a simple turn of a screw. And so here, like with the Lift X, you can adjust the cam. You can adjust the cams, left to right, and the grip. Here you can adjust the cams left to right, the cam timing as well with the time lock, and then adjust the grips with the grip lock. So I was really impressed by the some of those dynamics. This comes in at $14.49. They there's also a thing called the flip disc on the cams that allows you to adjust the draw length, and it also allows you to set it to comfort or performance shot. And I feel like that has to do with the aggressiveness of the draw cycle. If you want comfort, it's a little easier. If you want performance, then it's a little bit more aggressive. I could be wrong on that, but again, that's another option there for sort of that adjustability. So that was the Mathews Lift App, the Bowtech 34. Let's talk about the Elite Artis. And these are in no particular order, but the Artis comes in at 4.7 pounds. It's, again, I'm looking at my notes here. It is, IBO is 340 feet per second, so a little bit closer to the Mathews Lift X in terms of feet per second. It's 30 inches axle to axle, so it's just a bit shorter. It has a set technology for easy cam tuning and draw length range of 25 inches to 30.5 inches. So it's simplified exact timing or set, and it allows you to move the cams left or right, again, based on your needs. You can tune the cable roller as well. It has it allows you to use it has a Picatinny rail attached to it, or you can attach a standard sight. It gives you both of those options. And I believe built into the cam, you can adjust the let off from I don't see what the let off settings are here, but it comes in at $12.99. And again, you have a bow that you can make adjustments to really customize it to what you want without a bow press. And again, I think those are things that rise to the top to me when I look at the bow market. Even though I make my own adjustments on my bow with my bow press, I guess I just love this adjustability in the field. So now the last bow that sort of, again, rose to the top for me was the Darton Sequel 35. And this bow speed rating is 341. So the Mathews Lift X, the Elite Artis, and this Darton all have about IBO speed rating of 341. I believe the Bowtech 34 was a bit lower. This comes in at 4.75 pounds. It has a perfect timing adjustable yoke hangers and perfect tune adjustable limb pocket system. So you can adjust the timing of your cams with the yoke hangers, and then you can adjust the cam lean with the perfect tune adjustable limb pocket system. So what you're doing is shifting weight. Those are split limbs, and it's shifting that weight one way or the other. Now they set it up to where you're not going to sort of blow up the bow, but it again allows you to make those adjustments in the field. I'm trying to think of what other things that I can't tell if it has a Picatinny rail, or that might be an option. But again, it's just the draw weights are 50, 60, 70, and 80. It comes in at $12.99, which I think is a great price. And again, this is all with me not really shooting any of them. This is where I would say go again to Lancaster Archery's YouTube channel, look at these 4 bows, if any of them jump out to you, and then find a dealer nearby. If 2 of them or 1 of them really rise to the top, go to a dealer, shoot it, and get a sense of like, okay, yeah, I think this could work. I really like this. And that's the way that I would approach this. I think it's, if you're not in the bow market, then I would encourage you to learn as much as you can about tuning your bow yourself. That's a great investment, obviously, especially if you're traveling out of state to hunt and something happens to your bow and you're not sure how to fix it. That's a real problem. So if you spend time educating yourself on those things, maybe get a bow press, definitely invest in a portable bow press. Because again, if something happens to your bow that you need to make changes to in the field, you have that. And that's sort of the way that I've approached it without having to spend $1,300 on a new bow or anything like that. You use those dollars towards a Western hunt tag, and that's where I try to spend my dollars. So hope that you found this helpful. Next week, we're going to talk about sort of the business of the ATA and the marketplace within mobile hunting and sort of what I observe from a business standpoint. And it's going to be more opinion, and it's just my opinion. It's not, it's just my observations, quite honestly, from the ATA and about sort of the mobile hunting marketplace. And so that'll be sort of the third and final episode on the ATA. But again, sign up for Go Hunt, use my email address, get that $75, jmcoon02@yahoo.com. Like, subscribe, check out the YouTube channel. And I'm on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, I know that's been in the news. You can find Hunt Detail on TikTok as well. Have a lot of followers there, and I'd love to have you if you're not following me already there. So have a great rest of the week. Talk to you again next week.